Stop scrolling, because what I'm about to tell you is one of the most jaw-dropping celebrity courtroom moments we've seen in years. The footage that just leaked out of the courthouse has left people stunned, furious, and heartbroken all at once. Teyana Taylor, normally admired for her grace, poise, and unshakable strength, was caught on camera completely unraveling in the middle of her custody battle. She didn't hold back. She turned on Pierre, the man who was supposed to be her partner, her rock, her steady hand in the storm. And the way she lashed out at him left the entire courtroom in shock. But here's the twist. The outburst wasn't even the most shocking part. The real bombshell came from the judge. His ruling, dropped like a hammer in the heat of that chaos, shifted the entire case in an instant. No one, least of all Teyana or Aaron, could have seen it coming. What was meant to be just another day in an already messy custody battle turned into the kind of drama that writes itself into history. For weeks, this case had been simmering in the background, building tension like a ticking time bomb. Officially, the matter was supposed to be about Teyana and her ex-husband, Iman Shumpert, working out how to co-parent after their bitter split. But anyone who has been paying attention knows this battle was never that simple. The shadow of Aaron, Pierre, Teyana's new man, loomed over every decision, every whispered comment, every lawyer's objection. Aaron's closeness with Teyana, his attempts to bond with the children, and the blurred lines between being a boyfriend and stepping into the role of a stepfather had been raising eyebrows from the beginning. To some, Aaron looked like a supportive partner, simply trying to be there for a woman he loved and the kids who came with her. But to others, especially to Iman, Aaron's presence felt like an intrusion, like interference. And when personal heartbreak collides with the unforgiving walls of a courtroom, emotions don't just rise, they explode. That's exactly what happened when the cameras started rolling inside that courtroom. The day began the way most hearings do: mundane, procedural. Lawyers flipped through binders full of documents. The judge rattled off rules, and spectators whispered in hushed tones. Teyana walked in wearing a muted outfit, her face partially hidden behind oversized glasses. On the surface, she looked composed, but anyone paying close attention could see the truth. The tightness in her shoulders, the shallow rhythm of her breathing, her composure was fragile, holding on by threads. Not far behind her was Aaron. He wasn't a defendant, not officially, but his presence carried weight. He slipped into his seat quietly, almost trying to blend into the background. Still, everyone in the room knew he wasn't just the boyfriend. His role had become too visible, too important, too complicated. And as much as he tried to shrink himself down, the tension in the air seemed to orbit around him. For the first half of the hearing, things moved predictably. The judge asked about schedules and school routines, about stability and best interests of the children. Attorneys debated details, citing custody law and waving around pieces of paper like weapons. Iman sat tall, his posture controlled, his expression unreadable. He looked every bit the ex-athlete turned strategist, calm and focused. But every so often, his eyes flicked toward Aaron. The look wasn't long, but it was sharp, like a dagger, a reminder of the wound that hadn't healed. And then it happened. A question, simple on its face, shifted the entire energy in the room. Aaron was asked not about custody directly, but about his role in the children's daily lives. It should have been an easy response, harmless even, but something in the way he answered, whether it was his tone, his phrasing, or the implication behind his words, sparked a fire in Teyana. Maybe it sounded like he was stepping into a role that wasn't his to claim. Maybe it hit her ear as if he was blurring the line between boyfriend and father. Whatever it was, it lit the fuse. Her patience snapped. Her voice, normally calm, deliberate, and measured, suddenly cut through the courtroom like a blade. She turned on Aaron, her words sharp, her tone cracked with fury. "You don't get to confuse my kids like that. You don't get to act like their father." The words rang out, echoing against the wooden walls of the courtroom. Gasps rippled from the benches. Even the stenographer, whose job is to remain mechanical and detached, paused mid-keystroke and looked up. This wasn't a composed Teyana. This wasn't the unshakable woman the public had grown used to seeing on red carpets or in interviews. This was raw anger. This was a mother defending her children, lashing out with the kind of fury that only comes when you feel like your babies are being pulled into many directions. Aaron's face told its own story. Shock, hurt, betrayal. He hadn't expected this, not here, not in front of the judge, not in front of Iman, not in front of the entire room. His jaw fell open as if words were about to form, but nothing came out. He froze, his eyes darting between Teyana and the judge, realizing that this wasn't just a lover's quarrel anymore. This was public, official, and every second was being recorded. The judge wasted no time. His gavel slammed down, his booming voice cutting through the chaos. He called Teyana's outburst unacceptable, reminding her that a courtroom is not a battleground. But he didn't stop there. He leaned forward, his voice heavy with authority, and delivered a ruling that shifted the entire trajectory of the case. Effective immediately, Aaron's visitation privileges with the children would be suspended. The room went silent. The kind of silence where you can hear the shuffle of someone's shoe, the crackle of paper, the shallow intake of breath. Teyana's face crumbled. The tears came fast, filling her eyes, blurring her vision. She lowered her head into her hands, realizing that her eruption had cost her more than embarrassment. It had cost her control of the case. Aaron sat pale, lips pressed tight, unable to process the sudden blow. One moment he had been quietly supporting her, the next he was stripped of his role in the children's lives. His silence screamed louder than any defense he could have offered. And then there was Iman. Observers swear they saw it, the faintest smirk curling on his lips. He didn't celebrate, not openly, but the look said everything. To him, this was vindication, proof that his concerns about Aaron weren't just bitterness or jealousy, but real enough for the court to recognize. Within hours, the footage leaked. A shaky video recorded on someone's phone circulated across Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, every platform you can name. In it, you can hear Teyana's voice breaking as she yells, followed by the judge's ruling echoing like thunder. The internet went wild. Some defended Teyana, saying any mother would explode if she felt her children were being manipulated. That's not weakness, that's protection. One fan tweeted, rallying #Team Teyana across timelines. Others weren't so kind. Critics argued that she played right into Iman's hands. She just gave him exactly what he wanted. One user wrote, #split the internet. #Team Teyana trended side by side with #justice for Aaron. Legal experts jumped in, dissecting the ruling like it was a championship game replay. They clarified that the suspension wasn't final, but it wasn't light either. Judges in high-profile custody cases care about one thing above all: stability. And when emotions boil over in public, when things look chaotic, they act fast. Teyana Taylor looked undone. Witnesses say she exited the courtroom with mascara streaked down her cheeks, gripping her attorney's arm for balance. Her image of control shattered. Aaron followed, tight-jawed and stone-faced, ignoring reporters' questions. His silence was deafening. And Iman, he left like a man who'd won. Head high, shoulders back, the picture of calm triumph. Now, whispers are growing louder. Has the tide turned in Iman's favor? Could this single courtroom outburst shift the entire custody case? Was this about justice or about punishing emotion over intention? For fans, the debate rages on. But for the children at the heart of it, this isn't trending content. This is their life, their future, their story written in real time, caught between ego, heartbreak, and the search for stability.